Hey guys, so today marks a pretty big milestone for me in cubing, and that is the day that I feel like ZZ-CT is actually good for me, like better than ZZ-A. Now, I'm not saying that on average it's better, because I do average better with ZZ-A, still significantly better in fact, but ZZ-CT is at the point where I get more good single solves than I do with ZZ-A. So for example, I don't know exactly how many sub-9 solves I've had with ZZ-CT, but it's definitely more than I've had my entire cubing career with ZZ-A. So I'm at the point where if I compete with ZZ-CT, I am more likely to break my PB single than I am if I compete with ZZ-A. Now, I'm probably not going to break my PB average, although it is possible. I've gotten a few sub-official PB averages with ZZ-CT just in practice, but it's pretty rare still, but I could definitely break my single. So if I'm going for breaking a single solve PB, I'm going to be using CT. Now, right now, that might sound like it's not the best endorsement of ZZ-CT, but I am saying that it does have a really good use, and that is to try to break my official PB. So I'll be using it in competition from now on, not just because it's a novel, like, interesting, like, hey, I'm using this weird method, it looks like I get last layer skips and stuff. No, I'm going to be using it because I'm actually trying to get good solves with it. I do this thing when I'm doing cubing sessions where if I'm getting towards the end of the session or like the podcast I'm listening to stops or something, I'll be like, okay, I'm just going to do a few more solves and I'm going to go until I get a good solve, whatever I'm defining as a good solve at the time. Right now, I was like, when I get a sub-13 solve, that's when I'll start stopping. So I did that, I got a sub-13 solve, but I don't stop there. Instead, I continue to see if I can turn that into a good average of 5. If it doesn't turn into a good average of 5, then I'll just stop. Today, it turned into a good average of 5. It was like a sub-15 average of 5, which was not amazing, but it was good enough to keep going. So then I'll just keep cubing until my average of 5 and average of 12 are both like what I would consider bad. So in this case, I got until the average of 12 was also sub 15, and then I just kept going until neither the average of 5 or the average of 12 were sub 15 anymore, because I can't sustain that for very long. My PB average of 50 is sub 15, but it's hard for me to sustain that over long periods. And then once they're both not sub 15, I do one more solve, and if that solve is really good, so again, that would be sub 12, then I'll keep going. But if it's not, I just stop. So that's what happened eventually, except it didn't really happen because I did that once, and then I was like, you know what, I still feel like I'm doing pretty well, so I'm going to keep going, and then I kept going, and I got a PB average of 12, and it worked out. I should have stopped earlier if I were really following my rules, but I wasn't. Moral of the story, don't follow rules. As a result of that, though, I'm now vlogging very late at night. It's like after midnight. Maybe I should follow rules. In non-cubing news, just kidding, there's no such thing. Wait, but there is. I actually do have some non-cubing news, so ignore that last part. That was a joke. I played some board games and card games with friends today, and I tried out a game that a lot of you had told me about, or by a lot of you, I mean maybe just one of you. But in any case, one of you said something about it in the comments, and you suggested it. I finally got a chance to try it out today. That is the game of Coup. Now, I played a game of Coup with 6 players. I didn't really like it that much, to be honest. It was kind of hectic. Seemed kind of random at first, and then once you got down to just a few players left, it seemed deterministic, so there wasn't much variance in what happened, and it was pretty easy to predict who would win. But maybe that's just a flaw of it being a 6-player game. If we were playing with fewer people, there would have been a lot more uncertainty, and maybe that would have made it more interesting so that there was more deception and lying and, like, trickery. Maybe that would have made it more interesting, but with 6 players, it didn't seem like a very good game to me. For any of you who have played Coup, is it better with fewer than 6 players? I would expect so, but I don't know for sure. Oh, hey, would you look at the time? It's time for another episode of Rhyming. Alright, y'all, so this episode's gonna be a short one, but a good one. We only got one word here for you, and that word is dragon. Dragon rhymes with Carl Sagan. Sagan. Carl Sagan. This has been Rhyming. And with that, I'll see you tomorrow.